Hello everyone, Vova Shkonda here, and you're listening to Hanian Home. Let's get it started. Today we'll still get back to some ongoing topics, and the first one that I've been talking already for a while is TikTok. So, as you may recall, there's been already this whole conversation ongoing for TikTok being banned in US for the security reasons. So far, the US government didn't really make any actual moves towards the ban. There has been some speculation on which way they actually going to do. The whole cancellation of TikTok in the territory of United States. And so far, it was still unclear what is the whole plan is going on and whether it's actually going to happen or not. President Trump made this statement about banning TikTok, and basically all he needs is to sign one paper, which will then make the ban of TikTok effective immediately. And from what I understood, it's also quite an unprecedented thing in the history of the United States. Country where people usually respect the freedom of speech and all the things, but there's been this huge feud going on between China and US, and because of this whole trade war started, there's been those accusations, mainly based on the security reasons, that first it was Huawei who were stealing the data, and a lot of the telecommunication providers were still using their technologies. There were some allegations against Huawei saying that they are using some spy technology in order to collect the data of the US citizens and I suppose of some militaries as well. So that's why the Huawei was first banned, and then TikTok is the next huge ban in the this whole process of the trade war between China and US. I think before I mentioned the bunch of competitors were already trying to do their first steps in order to probably take over the spot that TikTok has in the US market now. But looks like TikTok found a way to keep the business in the country. And there are some speculations that Microsoft is going to buy US operations from the ByteDance, which is the TikTok parent company. So we'll see. Probably it's going to be a joint venture, I don't know, or maybe they will find some other way. Alright, back to the hot topics of previous days. You guys remember there was this huge Twitter hack, I think a couple of weeks ago. So they found the guys who were in charge of that, or at least some of them. And the whole story is hilarious. Nobody was sure how it all went through. And allegedly there were some speculations there could have been a Twitter employee helping out the hackers to get the access into the customer data portal. What actually happens, this 17-year-old dude, he basically talked his way to make, as he pretended to be an IT department employee of Twitter, and he got in contact perhaps with someone from Twitter's department, and due to some, I don't know, manipulations with the words, he convinced the actual Twitter employee to give access to the customer portal. And that's basically how the hackers got access to all of the accounts of the famous users. There were two other hackers also involved who probably helped with setting up the whole ransom scheme, so they were able to collect money on their crypto wallets. And the way they found out about those fraudsters, and two others were 22 and 19, the way the police found them is that, when you need to actually register in the cryptocurrency exchange, you'll need to provide your personal document. Usually the driver license already will do, or you can also provide your passport or ID card to prove your identity. So just based off the driver's license that was provided to create the account on Binance and Coinbase, those guys were found. As easy as that. Now, those US-based hackers whom they were able to find, it's not really clear whether there were more or not. So far, there are all those 3 people that got already arrested or planning to be arrested. I'm not sure about that UK guy, but those US ones, they're already facing trial, and both of them need to pay a fine of $250,000, and one of them as I already mentioned, the 17-year-old guy who is probably cannot be fully liable, but the prosecutor is asking for 20 years because even though he may be just a kid, but his actions were more of an adult, which sounds like quite a weird argument. But anyways, I mean, it is true, right? So the guy committed the complete fraud, which is insane. That, you know, like how insecure that Twitter internal stuff can be if some random guy can pretend to be working at the department, just get access to, like, it wasn't even hacking, you know, like it wasn't proper hacking. It was just good old phishing, so to say. So the guy called, or some saying that he got access to the Slack chat. So another thing, like, I suppose Slack is also not the best in terms of security. And in this way, just by talking to the actual employees, the guy got access to the data. Crazy. I just wonder how the Twitter employee didn't really think of, is there anything fishy about it that some random guy is asking you about something like this? There are also some rumors that it could have been a bribe to one of the employees, so that's why the other employee wasn't sure about whether it's a legitimate one or not. But, you know, those are all the speculations. And I suppose, of course, if you would see a message in the private working chat from the person you know, you'll probably believe that this is really they are and give them access. So depends on those details. It will really matter, like, who is basically liable on the Twitter's end and what the punishment can be on that side. And two quick news. You know Lil Miquela, it's like this famous CGI artist, but it's not the CGI artist who works in the CGI. It's like this CGI creature itself. And this girl basically is also combining not only the graphic design, she's also been sort of modeling for big brands, getting the collaborations with them, and also she's trying, like, the company behind them is trying to put her on the music. I actually thought that they only started with music recently, but it turned out to be they've been working on the music side of the whole project for about 3 or 4 years. And now, you know, like, a lot of festivals moved into the digital scene. So the Lollapalooza, which is one of the also most famous festivals, it actually debuted the music video of one of the songs that Miquela put out, which is quite a big thing, you know. All these CGI personas, they are getting more and more real, and they're having such a huge following, or trying to get such a huge following, that it's just incredible, I think, to see that there is not enough just people for our entertainment. Now we're gonna see more and more CGI avatars to become worldwide stars. Isn't that great? And last but not the least, Joe Rogan said that gaming is the waste of time. Bunch of bigger names in the gaming scene spoke about it, like Ninja, PewDiePie talked about it as well. And, you know, I think the whole point Joe Rogan was trying to make wasn't really true, and he really sounded like a person who has no clue what is happening in the gaming world, so to say. Gaming actually opens a lot of opportunities for such a huge amount of people to be anything from the game designer itself to the person playing and being this entertainer as well. Like, you know, weirdly enough, he was given an example of jiu-jitsu as a better, or any other martial art as a better way to spend your time, because then you can actually create your sort of jiu-jitsu school, and with your hobby you can start earning money. But then at the end of the day, gaming itself and games itself, they actually provide you such a bigger variety of ways you can actually earn money, because, you know, most of the professional sportsmen, after they retire, there is not much for them to do except for being coaches, if they still want to work in the same industry, unless they earned a huge amount of money. While in the gaming, there is such a huge variety of the ways you can actually earn money, anything from just being a streamer, and you don't necessarily need to be good at what you do, while usually in the sports and the competitive sports, you working for your reputation your whole life, and also doesn't matter if you've spent so much time, you'll become a great coach as well. So I don't think that all the people who've been trying to take the sport seriously and not necessarily had any great achievements, they are now really successful coaches. I don't think that all of them are. And also gaming has such a huge variety of it. So instead of spending your time in just one sport where you can actually good at, you can spend approximately the same amount of time in playing so many different games, which will first of all also bring you joy and build you some entertainment. And on the other hand, they are also, for some people, are allowing themselves to make a living. So yeah, Joe Rogan was a real boomer saying that. So I think that's about it. Thank you very much for listening, and